In the beginning of the story, there was a house where a girl and a boy were standing in front of each other. The girl told Nanami Rei to stop right there and said she had heard about him from the school. She asked how he could get himself suspended and demanded to know if he thought that was acceptable from a son of the Nanami family. The girl then asked why he could not be more like his brother. Nanami Rei replied that he had heard that lecture too many times already and said it was just like always. With his face lowered, Nanami Rei said that a reject like him would never amount to the same as an honor student like Ren Niasen. It was revealed that his name was Nanami Rei, age 16. The girl said with anger that if Nanami Rei could not even listen to his mother, then she would not waste her breath and that he could go run away from home for all she cared. Nanami Rei was not able to say anything. The scene then shifted to the dark sky where Nanami Rei was walking alone on the street at midnight. Suddenly, a girl crossed by him and muttered in surprise, wondering if that had just been Nanami Ren. The scene shifted to the house where a boy was saying that at least Nanami Rei looked really similar to him. The story then moved to the room of the Nanami family's eldest son. Nanami Ren was sitting in front of his computer, breathing heavily. While looking at the computer, Nanami Ren thought that that was it for the 235th time and admitted he was at his limit. With a very tense mind, Nanami Ren thought about surgery, wondering if that was the only option he had left. He told himself to calm down a bit and considered how about a buzz cut, or perhaps then told himself to calm down again, still unsure. While putting his head down, Nanami Ren thought that even if it did help, his mind would give in first. The scene then shifted again, and a scream was heard. Nanami Rei was sitting in the park, lamenting that he should have at least taken his wallet. Nanami Rei thought that he could not just go back home for a while. Suddenly, someone called his name, Rei. Nanami Rei turned and saw it was Renii, the Nanami family's eldest son. Renii came closer and said he could hear mothers shouting all the way from his room and asked if Nanami Rei was running away from home again. Renii then asked how Nanami Rei had gotten himself suspended. Nanami Rei admitted it had been because of a fight. He explained that the guys from his class were making fun of his Shaori, an underground idol named Saori. Renii said that it was nothing too serious. Nanami Rei insisted that it was a really big deal for him. Renii rubbed his eye and said that of course Nanami Rei would not feel happy about people badmouthing something he liked, but told him to calm down a bit and think for a moment. Renii explained that if Nanami Rei started fights over such things, then that would make Shaori sad. Nanami Rei then said that he was really hopeless against his brother. He thought about how his brother, who was only 1 year older than him, was the real pride and the elite of their family. Nanami Ren attended the super elite Seikei Academy, had perfect grades, good conduct, and a likable personality. He had it all. Compared to that, Nanami Rei thought of himself as the loner, the creepy otaku, the good-for-nothing. Their faces were identical, yet on the inside they were day and night. Renii felt bad for him, but Nanami Rei continued, asking how good it must be for Renii, saying that girls must be all over him at school too. Nanami Rei lowered his head in sadness and thought that he was just the unsocial creepy guy who only ever talked to girls during Checky events of underground idols. He admitted he was really jealous of his brother. Suddenly, from nowhere, Nanami Rei asked Renii if he had a girlfriend. Renii, frustrated, told him to stop and insisted that there was nothing to be jealous about. Nanami Rei was shocked and asked his brother what he meant. Renii quickly said sorry and told Nanami Rei to forget it. Nanami Rei pressed further and asked if something had happened at school. Renii laughed it off and said not at all, it was nothing. Renii explained that what he meant was simply that having fights at school and getting hooked on idols seemed like a much healthier and enviable school life. Nanami Rei was totally shocked and asked himself about his perfect brother, wondering if his brother really thought his life was enviable. Nanami Ren then stood up, saying it was time for him to go home. He said he would leave the back door unlocked and told Nanami Rei to make sure he came home before catching a cold. Nanami Rei replied with yeah, and with a slight smile on his face, thought that at that moment he felt really happy and was sure he had gotten into such a good mood. Suddenly, with discomfort, Nanami Rei asked from behind if they could go sometime together to Saori's Checky event. Nervously, Nanami Rei said that, thinking about his future, he should introduce Renii to her. Renii agreed and said, how about next week? Nanami Rei thought that on that day he saw his brother smile. Renii then teased him, asking if it was not too soon to think about the future. 3 days later, the scene shifted to the hospital. Nanami Rei came running and opened the door with a shocked face, calling out to Renii. Nanami Ren was sitting on the hospital bed and greeted Nanami Rei in surprise. Nanami Rei, sweating, explained that he had rushed there since they told him Reni had lost consciousness. Coming closer, Nanami Rei scolded him, saying that he looked just fine but had made him worry. He demanded to know what happened and why Reni had collapsed at school. Suddenly, Reni started shouting horribly while scratching his hair with his hand. Terrified, Nanami Rei moved closer to save him, but suddenly someone grabbed his shoulder from behind and said it was no use. It was a doctor, who explained that as it stood right now, nothing Nanami Rei said would reach his brother. Nanami Rei was shocked, unaware of what was happening. The doctor then explained that it seemed Reni had suffered some serious mental trauma. There was nothing wrong with his body though. Nanami Rei was shocked after he came to know that Reni's mind had just broken. Suddenly, Reni came back to consciousness. Nanami Rei asked what was with that and demanded to know what had happened at school, grabbing Reni's shoulder and forcing him to say who did it. The doctor told Nanami Rei to stop, but Reni started whispering fearfully for someone to go away. He said he did not want to and muttered about a woman, Wonder Rabbit Girl. Nanami Rei was stunned and started thinking about Wonder Rabbit Girl, realizing those were the last words his frightened brother had left him with. After that, his brother had not said another word. The scene shifted to the Nanami house, where Nanami Rei stood in Reni's room. He thought that his brother's room looked amazing, so different from his own, just covered with saori. He hoped he would find some clues there. While touching the table with his fingers, he muttered that his brother was stupid, then screamed with tears in his eyes, asking if they were not supposed to go to that Checky event together. Suddenly he saw a letter on the desk and noticed scribblings on a memo note. He thought that Reni must have been really ill. He saw some names on the note, like Ichii Ayaka, and realized that perhaps this woman, Wonder Rabbit Girl, could be the one involved. With a tense face, he wondered if this was the woman who had done something to his brother. Lost in his thoughts, Nanami Rei remembered his childhood, how he had been ignored at school and unwanted at home. Yet his brother was the only one. He remembered Reni telling him after he had run away from home that he would give him the longer one if he came back. Returning to the present, Nanami Rei thought with sadness that his only friend in the whole world was his brother. With anger, he shouted that this time it was his turn to save his brother. Squeezing a bottle, he shouted for Reni to wait for him. Carrying Reni's jacket in his hand, he declared that he would take his brother's place and mete out revenge. The scene shifted to school, where Nanami Rei walked the corridors, thinking that this was his brother's school. Holding Reni's note, he told himself he needed to search for Ichii Ayaka. He wondered about the mention of lectures, questioning if she gave them or took them, but decided whatever it was, for now he needed to find out who he was dealing with. Nanami Rei noticed that the girls in the school had been staring at him for a while. Since he looked exactly the same as his brother, he wondered if they had seen through his disguise. He thought that seriously, the girls had been throwing glances while whispering, and he noticed it. He thought that if they had something to say, they should say it to his face. The girls behind him whispered among themselves, gossiping that Nanami Rei was always carrying a picture of some idol, calling it creepy. They wondered what the picture was for and mocked him, suggesting he might take it to the toilet during breaks, disgustingly joking that he might think of them while doing it. They laughed at Shaori. Nanami Rei ignored them, thinking that it was all right because he had nothing to fear, since he was now his super popular brother. Nanami Rei then approached a harmless-looking girl and asked if she knew anything about Ichii Ayaka. The girl said Ichii Ayaka was from her class, but explained that she was hard to approach, always alone, and that most people were a little scared of her. Nanami Rei thought that she was basically the misfit of the elite school. Later, Nanami Rei asked another boy about Ichii Ayaka. The boy said he had found a girl who totally looked like her on a video. Shocked, Nanami Rei listened as the boy insisted that although her face was censored, it was totally her. Nanami Rei thought that Ichii Ayaka must have been that kind of woman, a loner and a pervert, suspected of being a actress. The boy explained it was one of those amateurs picked up on the street types of videos. Nanami Rei pretended to agree and asked for a link, thinking he would need to put more effort into the investigation. At that moment, the boy noticed Ichii Ayaka and pointed her out. Nanami Rei was shocked at how beautiful she looked. Filled with anger, he thought of her as the woman who dared to do such things to his brother and called her a damned cowtits in his mind. Nanami Rei approached and demanded a word with her, determined to question her despite his fear. Ichii Ayaka was surprised, but Nanami Rei told himself that even though she scared the hell out of him, for his brother's sake he had to push forward. Nanami Rei managed to get Ichii Ayaka alone. Ichii Ayaka asked him what he wanted from her. Nanami Rei thought to himself about where to begin questioning her. He realized it was the first time he had been alone with a girl after school and worried about his tone, his gaze, and how to act. Ichii Ayaka, while fixing her shirt, asked if he wanted to talk about the rumor, the one about the video. Nanami Rei was shocked, and Ichii Ayaka admitted she thought he believed she was that kind of girl. Nanami Rei asked if it bothered her, and with some anger, Ichii Ayaka said she did not care. Nanami Rei said she seemed like she did care. Ichii Ayaka shouted at him, saying she told him she did not care. Nanami Rei said that a nobody like her should try changing herself before whining like that. Ichii Ayaka was shocked, but Nanami Rei admitted she reminded him so much of himself that he could not help but feel pissed off. Nanami Rei thought to himself that he saw now this girl was the same as him. Ichii Ayaka then said that Nanami Rei was jacking off to that picture, wasn't he? Nanami Rei awkwardly said no, that he just appreciated art, insisting it was not soiled yet. Nanami Rei remembered how girls whispered about him being creepy, and he thought sadly that he was just a nobody. Ichii Ayaka shouted in anger, asking why she had to be lectured by him. Nanami Rei realized he had let his emotions take over, but then noticed she started blushing. He thought she looked aroused and said it felt strange to say that to her face, but it seemed like it. She shouted at him to shut up, denying it, but Nanami Rei insisted. A waiter came to take their order, but Ichii Ayaka was lost in her thoughts, repeating Nanami Rei's words in her head about being lectured. Nanami Rei thought he saw now that she got aroused when someone got mad at her. Ichii Ayaka stood up in anger, calling it stupid and saying he was an idiot. Nanami Rei thought about how someone could be aroused just by being lectured. Ichii Ayaka sat down again and called him the worst, saying he was creepy, scrolling her phone while ignoring him. Nanami Rei then scolded her, saying it was common courtesy to turn off her phone in a restaurant. Ichii Ayaka was shocked, but Nanami Rei continued, saying she must be lectured. Ichii Ayaka, in her mind, admitted that whenever he got angry at her, whenever he lectured her, her body reacted, almost as if he were directly touching her. She thought desperately that she had to calm herself down. She tried to suppress her voice, but her body betrayed her. She thought about how frustrating it was, yet how good it felt. Nanami Rei sat next to her, and Ichii Ayaka shouted at him to go away. The waiter returned with iced tea, and Ichii Ayaka answered milk, still flustered. Nanami Rei whispered in her ear that her hair accessories violated school regulations. Ichii Ayaka reacted strangely, and Nanami Rei thought he was sure now. He realized she really was a masochist who got excited from being lectured. He decided it was time for the decisive strike, determined to win her over. The scene then shifted to the washroom, where Nanami Rei had forcefully brought Ichii Ayaka into the men's toilet. Ichii Ayaka shouted at him, asking what he was playing at. Nanami Rei put his hand on her shoulder and told her there was no need to worry, that he would be gentle. Ichii Ayaka was shocked and stepped back, asking if he had gone crazy. Nanami Rei said to calm down, and that all she needed to do was entrust her body to him. Ichii Ayaka shouted at him to stop, saying she was still too inexperienced with that kind of stuff. Suddenly, Nanami Rei shouted, demanding that Ichii Ayaka explain why she was skipping school again. He demanded a satisfactory answer. Ichii Ayaka was shocked as Nanami Rei yelled that, as a daughter of the Ichii family, she had to behave herself. He asked if she was listening to him. Ichii Ayaka, frustrated, told him to stop. Nanami Rei shouted that if she would not listen to him, then he would not waste his breath and that she could go run away from home for all he cared. Ichii Ayaka screamed for him to stop. Something strange happened then. Ichii Ayaka began releasing strange sounds, realizing that words themselves were flowing around her body, binding her. She felt sensations as if hands were touching her. She shouted in confusion, wondering what was happening, as it felt so good despite Nanami Rei only getting angry at her. A voice seemed to ask if it felt so good to be lectured, and she screamed with conflicting joy and shame. Nanami Rei asked Ichii Ayaka if she was longing for something even more amazing. Ichii Ayaka, with excitement, said even more amazing, and thought to herself that if Nanami Rei did something more to her, she would fantasize about it. Nanami Rei then said that he would ask again. If Ichii Ayaka wanted more, she had to swear to him that she would obey him. Ichii Ayaka, with a weird expression, said she would do whatever he said. Nanami Rei then said that this was his first time, so he wanted more of her. Nanami Rei thought that he was going out of his mind. Suddenly, Ichii Ayaka kissed him and, while blushing, sat down on his lap. Nanami Rei thought that his first was taken by her, Ichii Ayaka said that Nanami Rei was too rough with his lecturing. She admitted she never imagined he would be so amazing with his lecturing and that it was her first time. Nanami Rei thought to himself in shock, wondering what the hell was with this conversation. He had not even touched her, yet she made him feel like he was a veteran of 100 battles. He thought with frustration about how he would have his revenge if she showed him such a face. While covering his face with his hands, Nanami Rei thought that, to think of it, Ichii Ayaka just looked like a normal good girl to him. He wondered if he had just taken a liking to her, but reminded himself that he still had his brother, who even in that moment was suffering in a hospital. Nanami Rei then said it was time, and that he had something to ask. Nanami Rei asked Ichii Ayaka if a certain Wonder Rabbit girl rang any bells, explaining that he went through some terrible things because of it. Ichii Ayaka replied in confusion, asking about Rabbit, and said she had no idea what Nanami Rei was saying. She asked why she would do terrible things to him. Then suddenly, Ichii Ayaka said if Nanami Rei had forgotten when she told him that she loved him. Nanami Rei was shocked and thought about what she had said. Nanami Rei asked if it was his brother or him. Ichii Ayaka said she was in love with him and told him not to say it out loud like that because it was embarrassing. Nanami Rei thought in disbelief about what the hell was happening, realizing that Ichii Ayaka was not the culprit's name. He wondered just what that strange note had been. He realized it simply meant that his brother really was popular, and he thought with jealousy about it. Ichii Ayaka, while blushing, said that after today she thought she was still in love with him, after all, and asked how about it, wanting to go out with him. Nanami Rei repeated the words "go out" in shock and thought to himself that he wanted to go out with her. With tense desperation, Nanami Rei thought that he wanted to do it. While looking at the note of his brother, Nanami Rei thought that he had just put it in his wallet randomly without thinking much about it and wondered who would have thought that one day he might actually use it. He thought it was moving. Nanami Rei then asked Ichii Ayaka if she was really sure about this. Ichii Ayaka told him not to ask that from a lady. Nanami Rei told her she was quite mean, but said he liked that part of her and called her Ren-kun. Nanami Rei then said that looking for the rabbit girl was more important than having a girlfriend and apologized. Ichii Ayaka, frustrated, asked if that meant he did not want to go out with her. With anger, she said, well, if it seems so important, then so be it. Nanami Rei said in that case he would tell her if he happened to find something out. The scene then shifted to the hospital, where Nanami Rei was speaking to his unconscious brother. Nanami Rei said that today he went to his brother's school. He admitted that no one had ever confessed to him before and that in fact, no girl had ever spoken to him except out of malice. Nanami Rei told Renai that he really was an amazing person. Nanami Rei laughed to himself and said that compared to Renai, even claiming to be the knight to his day was an exaggeration. He thought that even though it seemed like he had a good lead, he was back to zero. Nanami Rei thought he had no choice but to take a look around his brother's room again. Suddenly, a nurse arrived and told him visiting hours were over. Nanami Rei said, all right. Suddenly, he saw a USB stick on the desk and asked if it could be his brother's. The scene shifted to the Nanami house, where Nanami Rei was sitting in front of Renai's computer. Nanami Rei apologized to his brother and said he would take a look at it. Suddenly, Nanami Rei saw something and asked what it was. He realized it was a list of the school's girls with names and their fetishes. Nanami Rei was shocked and asked what the hell it was, saying it was beyond the level of crazy. He then saw No. 001, Ichii Ayaka, listed with homophilia. Nanami Rei thought about it again and remembered that there were people who, when being lectured, felt sexual pleasure. While looking at the note, Nanami Rei realized that the note was about her fetish for lectures. He asked why his brother would have a list of fetishes and thought there must be some really important meaning behind it. Nanami Rei wondered if his brother could have then said no, he was not like him, after all. Nanami Rei thought that the pieces were starting to fall in their places, his brother suddenly collapsing, him saying that woman, the mysterious list, the girls, their fetishes, their weaknesses. Nanami Rei wondered if all the girls in that elite school could actually be perverts. Nanami Rei thought he wanted to seduce more and wanted to feel Ichii Ayaka at least a bit. He then realized that Ichii Ayaka was just one of many suspects. He thought that what his brother left behind for him must be a list of possible suspects. While searching on the computer again, Nanami Rei thought that someone on this list would be the one behind it. While clenching his fist, Nanami Rei thought that if he just kept rounding up the girls on the list, eventually he would reach the culprit. While looking at the photo of Renai, Nanami Rei told him to wait, promising to do his best. The scene then shifted to the school, where two students were gossiping. One of them asked the other if he was wondering something. The next boy asked what was up. The first boy said, while looking at Ichii Ayaka, that she looked somewhat different. He asked where her hair accessories were and wondered if something good had happened to her. The other boy replied that who knew. Then Nanami Rei was seen, saying now then, finding the list of suspects, who should he start with? He thought there were so many of them, after all. Suddenly, he turned back and saw a bunch of girls saying good morning to Ishisaki-senpai. Ishisaki-senpai replied with good morning to everyone. Nanami Rei saw that two girls were admiring Ishisaki-senpai, saying she looked more refined than ever, and that they could not help but admire her, calling her as pure as a white lily.